Alright, so we're starting our tour of New York in the famous Central Park, so it's a big green space in the middle of Manhattan. And I should have a little disclaimer before I start talking about New York City. I'm what many would refer to as a hater when it comes to large cities like London, Chicago, New York. I tend to find that they're overpriced, they smell terrible, they're poorly kept, all these sort of things. So that's the mindset I'm going into exploring New York with. So just bear that in mind. You're like, oh, he's being really rude to New York. Yeah, I probably am. Anyway, I will say I do like Central Park so far. Pretty nice walking area. But yeah, so I already got some footage of Fifth Avenue, so that's where all the bougie stores are, Armani, whatever, Gucci. I don't know a lot of them. I don't wear designer clothing. Not built like that yet, but yeah, so I'm just gonna take you around New York for a little bit today. I think we're doing Rockefeller Center, Empire State Building, just sort of the classic stuff. I only have about 8 hours and I do need to get lunch at some point, so that'll be it. So this is, of course, the famous Carnegie Hall. It's a concert hall. And actually there was a kid from my elementary school who was a piano prodigy who played here. And he was like 4 or something, so. I was not quite so musically gifted, so I'll never perform here, I would assume. Not unless something really changes in the world. Yeah. So here, up close and personal, is the legendary Radio City Music Hall, where John Mulaney filmed one of his specials, though I can't remember which one. Looks like tonight it's hosting Alejandro Sanz, so I don't know who that is. Must be pretty good though, if he's performing here. Also, let it not be said that I know how to pick good days to film, because it is mizzling, as I guess the British would say, misty drizzling, and it is a nightmare. Just a quick hop, skip, and a jump from Radio City Music Hall, we have Rockefeller Center, home to our media overlords at NBC. Getting political on this one. NBC Comcast, I guess, technically. It's also the setting of a really mediocre TV show, 30 Rock. And I guess you can ice skate here in the winter, but not right now. New York has a lot of skyscrapers. I don't know exactly how many, so I won't tell you the history of it. What I can tell you is that Rockefeller Center was named after J.D. Rockefeller, who was one of the richest men in the world at the time, and I believe would still be considered one of the richest if you adjusted the value of the dollars he earned to today's currency. So at least he invested it in something for the city, right? Alright, I am in Times Square, which is a place that people have a lot of really moronic opinions about. Where if you tell anyone from New York, you're going to Times Square, they're like, oh, it's so touristy, why would you want to do that? Well, I'm a tourist, so let this be a lesson to all you would-be travelers. Don't not go somewhere because it's quote-unquote a tourist spot. Yes, a lot of the best stuff on trips you find at places that aren't really tourist spots, but that doesn't mean that every tourist spot is this dumb place that isn't worth visiting, because honestly, I mean, it's a bit overdone, but it's kind of cool. 2 interesting things I did not realize. Number 1, we are on Broadway, and number 2, weed is legal in New York. Now, I'm not going to get any, but I only bring it up as when I was walking by someone, they were just brazenly smoking weed in front of a cop. which I think still might not be legal, but didn't get any trouble, so it really is a different thing going on out here. So right now, I'm on my way to find the Empire State Building, which was, when it was built, the tallest building in the world. So that was in the early 1930s, and it kept that title until I think the 1970s, so a pretty good run. Now you'd think, with the building being the tallest in the world, it'd be very easy to find, but even as I walk around looking up, I can't locate the damn thing, so search continues. It is the biggest Art Deco building probably in the world. At least I hope it's the right building. It's in the right spot, so I don't know. See if I can go inside, try to get out of the rain, warm up, dry off, all that. That's the plan. All right, we're in the Empire State Building. It's an expensive proposition, but look at this great museum you get to see. And you get all the history, so you don't have to rely on me telling you about it. So I did pretty well. I said it was 1930s, that was right. I said Art Deco, that was right, so I'm calling that 2 for 2. When I was a little kid, I was afraid of elevators.
You get to see it built. Keep your arms and legs inside and keep your eyes open.
This would have scared the shit out of me.
Nice catch, Lou! Get those planks out of the way, huh?
My friggin' ears just popped.
Coming up to the 80th floor. You're headed to the top of the Empire State Building right here in the heart of New York City.
So interestingly enough, the people who work here actually told me not to buy a ticket today because you can't see anything. But I went ahead and did it anyway. Which turns out to be a triumph of hope over recommendation, because you cannot see bupkis. The cost to come to this floor, which is the 82nd floor, 86th floor, something like that, is only $42, which is a lot of money, but compared to going all the way to the top, the 102nd, is basically nothing. So to go to the top, it'll cost you $75 for an adult, which I thought was a bit steep, especially since you can't see anything out there. But still, just to be in a landmark like this, I think it's probably worth the money. You know, especially if you're only coming here once, which, you never know. You know, this could be it. Never again coming to New York. Probably not. But. So it is colder than a witch's tit in a brass bra out here right now. I'm on the 86th floor. You can still basically see nothing. But somewhere over there is Coney Island, I guess. You can pretend. So yeah, overall, I would say Empire State Building in the rain may not be the move. I bet it'd be really cool if it weren't raining though. Somewhere up there in the clouds is where you get to go if you spend the big bucks, 102nd floor. But based on the view I have from the 86th, that'd be a big old waste of money. So this is kind of the classic Art Deco interior. All right, so I am just heading out from Sarge's Delicatessen, which, you know, when you come to New York, there's essentially two different types of food that you're supposed to get. You're supposed to get either Jewish deli food, or you're supposed to get pizza. I wasn't really in a pizza mood. I've got a flight tonight, you know, so instead Went to the Jewish deli. Got to celebrate my heritage a little bit. And I got to say, that pastrami on rye, it is probably the best pastrami on rye I've ever had in my life. Pastrami was super moist, bread was delicious. I get all the hype now. So if you're in New York, definitely go to a Jewish deli. There's the Flatiron Building, built at the turn of the century. I walked right by it 3 times because from the other side it looks like a normal building. So one of the last things I'll see here in New York before I head back is Ground Zero. So this is of course the location where one of the Twin Towers stood. They've turned it into a monument. And here they have the names of the people who passed away on that day. So way out there in the distance is the Statue of Liberty. It's a little thing way out there, a little black streak. Yeah, you can see it a little better. Got it zoomed in. There's the New York Stock Exchange. It's where all the money comes and goes. Over there is the famous bull in the New York Stock Exchange. So that's Alexander Hamilton's grave. Alright guys, that is it from an exhausting day. I ended up walking about 25,000 steps, maybe a little more I guess actually. So very tired, ready to hop on this flight and hopefully get some good sleep, and I'll probably shoot a little bit of footage on that journey, but if I don't, then I'll see you in Finland.